Alright, Chainsaw Basics 5, how to tighten the chain. Got the 500i here right now. Like most saws that are out there currently, it has bar tensioner nuts, and the screw for adjusting your chain tension is this one here. Some chainsaws, especially smaller chainsaws, have it on the front right there. That is the screw you adjust to set your chain tension, that is. To set your chain tension, what you're going to do first, so you're going to loosen off your bar nuts. These don't have to be all the way off. They do have to be loose enough that the bar can move forward and back. That's what this screw does, by the way, is it moves the entire bar forward and back. The further forward it moves, the more tense the chain is. The further back it moves, the more slack the chain is. So I've got those loosened off. You're going to want to disengage your chain brake as well, because if your chain brake's on, your chain can't turn. It's harder to get your tension right. And I'll just loosen this right off to show you for starters. You can see that my chain's starting to sag, so that's too loose. That'll come flying off as it spins. It's also going to create chain slap. What that means is that as the chain is coming around the tip here, as it's coming down, it's going to be slapping this part of the bar. It's going to do the same thing in here as well to a lesser degree, but that's going to wear out your bar, and you're going to get a wear pattern like that over time. So to avoid that, what you're going to do is you're going to lift the bar up. You can see there's a little bit of play to this. Typically when you're cutting, you're using the bottom side of the bar, so if it goes anywhere, it's likely to go up. We want to do that to start out with so that our chain tension doesn't change while we're using it. The longer your bar, the bigger a difference it's going to make. The brand of your bar will vary as well. Some have more slop than others, just depends on the machining tolerances. So I'm going to stick my scrunch in there, and I'm going to start to tension this. And you'll see the chain coming up towards the bottom of the bar. And I'm going to go until it touches. I'm not going to go past where it touches. Give it a little turn in case there's some schmooze. See how it loosened up. We just want it snug but not tight. So I can pull up on the chain, and you can see that it snaps back into place. That's good. Same thing at the bottom. What we don't want is there to be a lot of friction when it's going around, because that's going to stress out the bearing there, and that's going to stress the bearing here as well. When I go to tighten it, I'm going to pull up, and then I'm going to tighten my bar nuts down to lock it in place. Once you have one tight, then you don't have to hold the other anymore. You move the saw around to make it easier to work on. Now the last step that I do is after I have this tight, I'm going to go ahead and loosen off this screw just a little bit, just to take the tension off it. That way, if for some reason this moves around because stuff happens, I'm not going to damage that mechanism. It's very easy to reset my chain tension by moving these, because they're just clamping that bar in place. If I actually break the worm gear, that's a big problem for me to fix.